From an article written by the Voices for Children's Foster Care, as of 2020, there are about 440,000 children in foster care, ranging from just days old to 21 years old here in the United States. My name is Nicole Gleason, and today I'm going to be talking about adoption laws and how it is more difficult for the LGBTQ members to be adopting here in the United States. With the year being 2020, and with how many people are openly marrying the same sex or coming out as gay, bi, queer, and so on, you think that the world would be adjusting to that, and especially how common it is becoming, you think that everyone would have the same rights, but that is not the case. Today we'll be talking about why LGBTQ members should have the same rights when it comes to adopting, especially why this is still a problem, and things that we can do to help advocate for the LGBTQ community when it comes to adopting. To start off, I want to give a little bit of a background of what this issue really is and why it's so important for people to understand and be educated on it. So, written by Derek Bryson Taylor in his article, Adoption Groups Could Turn Away LGBTQ Families under a Proposed Rule, he wrote, a proposal rule by Trump administration would allow foster care and adoption agencies to deny their services to LGBTQ families on faith-based ground. So this rule was proposed by the Trump administration to kind of roll back an Obama-era rule that allowed classified sexual-oriented and gender identity as classes to be protected from all discrimination. It was also stated by Derek Bryson Taylor that critics such as Miss Brogan Cater said the rule would allow organizations to place their personal religious beliefs above the needs of children in the care. So when you put it in that way, it's not really just affecting the LGBTQ members, but when it comes to that, you're also affecting the kid that is looking to be adopted by a family, but is being denied just because of the parent's sexual orientation. But now that you have somewhat of a background of how unfair and unlawful this situation really is, I want to talk about why this is still happening to this day. So in 2018, Samantha Allen wrote about how it was once it became legal for gay marriage, a lot of anti-LGBTQ groups were trying to find any possible small victories they could get, and their next target was going to be the foster care systems and trying to turn that against LGBTQ members as well. Allen stated that 3 states in particular, which were Kansas, Oklahoma, and Colorado, will soon weigh anti-LGBTQ legislation that would allow religiously affiliated placement agencies to turn away same-sex couples looking to adopt or foster a child under their guise of religious freedom. So that is just one example of why to this day it's still hard for LGBTQ couples to adopt, but it's always going to be hard if you're going to have people who are kind of paving the way for the world and they're going to be against what you stand for. It's also hard not to mention that a huge portion of the people who are supporting LGBTQ or anti-LGBTQ groups are also the people who are pro-life, so they kind of have to understand that if you're going to be if you're going to be pro-life, there's going to be a lot more babies going to the foster care, and if you're going to cut off like a bunch of the people who are planning to adopt, there's the numbers of children in foster cares are only going to continue to skyrocket, so that's kind of conflicting as it is. Not to mention that for the past 4 years, our country has been led by someone who has openly stated that they do not support LGBTQ rights and has made many things difficult for the lives of many gay people. It was also written by Julie Monroe that in her Catholic social sources sued Philadelphia in 2018 after the city ended its contract with the faith-based service provider upon learning the organization would not consider same-sex couples as potential parents for foster children. This organization argued that to provide these services, the gay couples violate its constitutional rights to the religious exercise and free speech that they have. With that being said, there isn't technically much we can do when the people who make our laws are anti-LGBTQ, but that doesn't mean we can't really fight for what we believe in or be an ally for all LGBTQ members when it comes to this. something we could do is start to educate the younger generations on what it is to label yourself as an LGBTQ member, or just let them know that it's okay if they want to explore that. But again, that's going to start with the teachers. So that's so when it comes to the teachers, you want to make sure that like you're hiring people who obviously support that and are educated on that. From the articles, Teachers as LGBTQ Allies, it states that it's important for teachers to understand the different labels used with LGBTQ communities for two reasons. First, the American Psychological Association points out that many stigmas are still associated with LGBTQ individuals, and much of this is due to the lack of understanding that breeds prejudice and discrimination. So, we need to be educating with open minds, and once we educate the younger generations with an open mind and let them know that it's okay to have a friend that's LGBTQ, or if you are, then that's going to be a step in the right direction. From the article, Find Things You Can Do to Support Your LGBTQ Youth, written by Allison Del Pario. She states that the top 5 things we can do to be an ally is listen to LGBTQ youth, be a role model for kindness and inclusion, show young people they can be authentic around you, take action at the local level to create safe places, and stay informed and get involved into the fights ahead. With all that being said, we are making progress to have LGBTQ members finally have all the same rights as every heterosexual couple. It is a work in progress, but progress is still being made. This topic and situation is a very important issue for everyone to understand. Once everyone can come together and realize that we're taking the rights away for LGBTQ people, the world will become a better place.